So, Windows Virtual Desktop, Azure Service, new Azure Service, currently in preview. And the important thing is that you're going to be able to run or offer to customers client desktops or server desktops. And if you have these licenses, that's what you need for those desktops. So if as a customer I want to run a Windows 10 desktop, then I can have any of these licenses here. So if I've already got Microsoft 365, I've probably got Windows 10 deployed or installed on my device, I can have a virtual desktop if I want to. The choices you're going to have, there will be multi-session options for Windows 10, which is going to mean that you can get more bang for your buck in terms of resources. So that will allow you to share resources across users. Single sessions, but I think this is possibly the interesting thing at the moment. Customers who have Windows 7 and want to keep running Windows 7, what event is about to hit them? End of support again. So like with Windows and SQL end of support, if you go to the cloud, you get free extended security updates. So what this is saying is, if you go to the cloud, then you get the free extended security updates. You could continue running Windows 7. And in terms of the costs, then it's like all of these things. So I've got my license here, so that entitles me to run the operating system. But you will then need to pay for the compute of the virtual machines that you're running it on, and if there are any costs, you're using storage potentially as well. And Microsoft have released some sample pricing, which I thought was quite useful. So this is, let's take medium. So this is scenario examples for 100 user deployment with multi-session, so making use of resources. East US, that's where the preview region is. For medium, ideal for basic Microsoft Office apps such as Word and Excel, as well as database apps, so that's fairly normal use of the products. Then they've estimated what Windows Server virtual machines they think you would have to run those virtual machines on. And this little 1 and 2 here actually says we would recommend that you use, what would be the cheapest way of paying for those Windows Server virtual machines? Maybe a reserved instance and... Don't make me do all this again. A server subscription, indeed. So that's what the little 1 and 2 means there. And then they've estimated some storage costs on there. So it's important that you've got the right license. And then there's going to be, I'm actually spinning up a Windows Server virtual machine to run these, and I'm going to have some storage. There are some resources. So there's a deck that you may wish to avail of. And then these are the resources here. This video, I hate watching videos with a passion. I'd rather stick pins in my eyes. But I did watch this because I wanted to find out about multi-session. It's a really good video, actually. And it really shows the improvements they've made with things like FX logics as well, in terms of persistence of things. That is well worth watching if you want to bluff your way in Windows Virtual Desktop, frankly. Are you happy to ask questions? I'll keep going until you tell me to stop. Well, not literally, because that would be quite odd. Let's have a look at a new price list format. I don't know if you get involved with the price list on the Partner Centre, but just be aware, this is what the current price list format looks like. How useful is this? I have no words that have the word useful in it. The fact that it's a pivot table, for me, really big problem. I want to flipping well sort it and do my stuff on it. It's also slightly odd that obviously the whole world revolves around US dollars, so that's the first tab there, or whatever. Anyway, that is changing. There is a pilot price list. Good job you're sitting down for this. Oh, it's a normal spreadsheet. And we've got different tabs down here. What did you say, UK Cloud?
It's going to be a PDF, yeah?
No, look, it's all nicely sorted in order here. This is a pilot. You can see there's a June pilot. They are intended to go live with this 1st of July. So they are actively seeking your feedback. So if there's anything in there that you want to have changed, you're welcome to give feedback. But it's just gone to an ordinary spreadsheet. There is, on the announcements in Partner Centre, there was an announcement about this, and there is a link to click to give feedback on this. So have a look at that. So that's just to say we should have those from the 1st of July, pilot price list. There's also a new resource gallery. Have you seen the resource gallery? This is actually not bad, actually. So here's the announcements page I was just talking about, and there's the new price list thing that Mark will be going to click on. But up here, it talks about the CSP Programme Updates Resource Gallery. What this is doing, essentially, when you click on this downward arrow here, you're going to get the whole text, and then there'll be some blue links, and there'll be a link to a site, and then there'll be a PDF you can download, and then you can click on here, and that will take you to another site. And if you're trying to find something, think, it's a really good FAQ on whatever, you've actually got to find the article and the announcement and then go into it. What the resource galleries does has stripped out, or copied out, hasn't taken it, taken every resource, every website that's been referenced in these announcements and grouped them together. So if I imagine I've just clicked on that, that takes me here, and you can see currently there are 253 items in there. And then down here, I can choose a different asset type. So if I chose, because I personally love an FAQ, if I choose FAQ, I can see, there's 7 FAQs. One on the Microsoft Partner Agreement, useful to support this morning's session. One on the new Azure experience, useful to support this morning's session. Might want to look at those. If I collapse that, I can see the other things I can filter by. So if there are industries, I can choose a particular industry to get. There are case studies in here as well, for instance. Partner type, you've got indirect reseller, indirect provider, direct partner in there. Products and roles, so sales, technical, and products, obviously. However, what's also useful is this. So I've just gone here to this is what Hayley talked about this morning, expanding partner opportunities with Azure in the Cloud Solution Provider Programme. And then it says here, find FAQs, decks and more on the CSP Programme Updates Resource Gallery. When I click on that, it goes to what's called a collection. And a collection is all the assets to do with that announcement in one place. So I could look on here and get everything to do with that particular post on there. So that's available now. That's useful to have a look at the different resources. And there's also a reference guide if you need a sort of how-to guide on that. There's a link for that there as well. Okay. Let's have a look at, let's just have a quick look at licensing terms. So by licensing terms, I'm talking here, well, what documents control the use of the products in CSP? We're going to panic. Product terms is one, and the other one? Online services terms. So through the ages, Microsoft have always had some sort of document that gives you details on how the products are licensed. So this was the earliest one I could find, 1996. I suspect some of us weren't even born then. 1996 there. We had product use rights and we had the online services use rights. These are the documents Microsoft have always had. Today, we have the online services terms and the product terms. But tomorrow, not literally, shortly, we won't have these documents, we will have a website. So what's going to happen is, rather than as a licensing person in a partner or a customer, rather than I've got to download these documents every month and see what's different and what have you, what I'll be able to do, there's a new content management coming out, and I'll be able to go to the licensing terms website to get information on the products. So let me give you a quick run through of this. This is what it looks like. It's in beta at the moment. You are welcome to, if you've got any feedback, happy to pass it on to the teams. But you will go here and you can clearly see what this is all about. Here's all the products. They're blue. I would imagine I can click on those. Lovely. Let's click on Exchange Server. I can see here I've clicked on Exchange Server and it tells me what licenses are available. And let's say you're thinking, is Exchange Server available in CSP? You can't quite remember. You can have a look here and you can see the programs that it is available in, and clearly there is no CSP column on there. Then everything about Exchange is grouped in one place. So in the current documents, you've got to look one place for this and one place for that, but it's all been grouped together so I can see the licensing model for Exchange, the software assurance benefits, the licenses that I need to access Exchange. Now this is important from a CSP perspective, because if I'm selling E1 or E3 or A3, F1, am I allowed to? I bought that through CSP. Can I access an on-premises Exchange server? This shows you that you actually can with many of those licenses. So this is interesting if your customer has an existing on-premises environment, thinking about going to the cloud, does still need to access that. You get CAL equivalence rights with many of these online services, and that table shows you that. I've gone into here for Windows Server now, and perhaps I'm thinking, I wonder what's changed on this. You're going to be able to compare. So up here it says present day terms, but on there I can click. Now I did these screenshots on the 20th of May, so that's what the yellow is. The blue is where there have been changes made. Now, because they are adding things all the time at the moment, because they're building the content management system, they tell me, going forward, typical month, there might be 3 blue boxes. That's where changes were made. So I can see the current day. I think I'll compare what I'm looking at now back to the 1st of the month. So just have a look here. It talks about extended security updates. So back here, let's compare to the 1st of the month. Oh, and I can see that the information looked different on the 1st of the month. And if I scroll down, up here, if I decide to compare to today and then scroll down, it tells me that green text is what was added. I think, the extended security update stuff has been added since the 1st of the month. Then I can see that. If it was red, it would mean it had been deleted. So I can compare. I can also filter stuff. So at the moment, I'm seeing all products for all programs, but I could go here and choose to filter by the Microsoft Customer Agreement. What products am I going to see here if I choose Microsoft Customer Agreement? This is my voice. You should be able to answer this question. Oh my God. I may cry, correct. So I'm going to choose the Microsoft Customer Agreement, and it's just Azure stuff. Excellent. However, let's go back and choose Microsoft Cloud Agreement. And now I can see what's available through the Microsoft Cloud Agreement, i.e. CSP today. Heaven only knows what they're going to do when it's Microsoft Customer Agreement everywhere. But at the moment, it's called Cloud Agreement. Then what I can do, this button here, although it looks like a printer button, that's actually a save button. I'd use the disk myself, but if I click on that button there, then what I can do is I can, though it still says print everything, you're only going to save it, I can build myself a product terms of everything to do with CSP. And what it does, remember I did this little demo on the May the 20th, so it's built me a document, but it's only, for CSP products, it's only CSP terms in there. So an EA customer could do exactly the same, for instance, on there. So that is supposed to go live quite soon. These were the dates I was originally given, beta site May the 1st. June it's going to go live, so I checked. To be fair, I checked on, what day is it today? I literally have no idea what day it is. Wednesday. I checked on Monday, and it hadn't gone live yet, but it will go live. When the website is live, they will continue to update the documents, but ultimately, September the 1st, the idea is that they no longer update the documents, they just update this website. So if you are used to looking at the product terms and the online services terms, that's an update. So I'll repeat for the audio track. Will we be able to go back and look at old product terms from a compliance perspective? There is a reasonably good archive that you can go back to. That's not going anywhere. That's a good point. So no. And you will have to. So I think what they're trying to do, from the 1st of June, that's when we've kind of got this parallel running, and then from before that you have to go to the documents, and after that you'll be able to compare back to the 1st of June because that's when it was properly live. But yeah, old document stores. Any questions on that? Okay. I think, Paul, I haven't given you as much. It's done, is it? Okay. It's a surprise. Right, let me just do, I'm just going to do some marketplace stuff actually, because what we've found is that marketplace seems to be a little bit of something that, like, what's marketplace? So I pose the question to you. What is marketplace? Oh, more competition for A grade, where you can buy ISV solutions for Azure. Spot on. Marketplace has been around a long time, and it has been completely available for customers buying through Azure.com. So I am, as we call it, a web direct customer. I can go to the marketplace and I can buy stuff. It's also been available for EA customers. I can buy marketplace stuff. Brilliant. Then it's kind of ground to a halt slightly. Within CSP, historically, there have been some bring-your-own-license solutions, but what Kieran was talking about this morning is what's been done is the ISV can now tick a box and it publishes it in Partner Centre, and that's what I just want to make sure you understand here. So what I've done, now I took these screenshots a little while ago, so if you've looked at this recently it might look slightly different because this could change every day, because as the ISVs publish their solutions the screen will look different. But essentially, today in Partner Centre I can click on Marketplace and I can see the things that are available for me to sell to my customer. And there are two types of solutions. There are SaaS solutions, so they're calling them here, oops, clicking the wrong way. They're calling them SaaS and then kind of other solutions. A SaaS solution, think of as, again, Kieran described this, is it's a license-based solution. So I sell a license for a user. And then everything else is more a consumption-based solution. So all of these, I think, oh yes, that's a perfectly configured virtual machine for SAP or whatever. I don't incur any charges until I spin up that virtual machine. So two types of services. SaaS is I buy a license for my users. Everything else is consumption-based. If you have a look, I've just gone into, which one did I go into? Tidal migrations, this one here. And I can see on here I can get the idea of the pricing on there. And then when I want to sell it to my customer, now you're probably using APIs and what have you, but essentially, and again Kieran mentioned this, the technique to buy it is exactly the same as if it was Office 365. So, or Dynamics 365, any license-based services. So I do it from within Partner Centre, and I just add the number of licenses to my basket. So that's the SaaS solutions, monthly or annual billing, etc. Now, for the other ones, let's call them the Azure solutions, so this is now the consumption-based ones. I can have a look in here, but very often you don't get any pricing information. You can't buy them from within Partner Centre. Where have you got to go and buy these from? We head off into the Azure Management Portal. And now in the Azure Management Portal, so what I've done is I was interested in this one, so that's what I've searched for up here, and there it is, and then I can go and buy that solution on there. Okay, there's a little bit more, there's some resources there on Partner Centre in terms of some guides. The most useful thing, if you want to find out about this, is use the operations guide. I'm trying not to see, Steve.
You can see me, you can hear me. Just a quick one, so I'm trying to follow this, but you're in the
Hang on, I've got a mute button here.
No. Yeah, sorry, I was just following in the Partner Centre. Where did you get the marketplace option? Sorry, I didn't see, we couldn't find it.
I clicked on one of these down here, which I can't remember which one it is. I think these are not useful to me. It's the one that's sell.
We found it.
UK Cloud, I found the one on UK Cloud. Mm-hmm. It's good they're participating, isn't it? Anyway, this operating guide, jolly useful for things like refunds, because you're selling third-party solutions here. So a SaaS refund, remember this is the user licenses. Then, well, you can see if they're monthly subscriptions, lovely. If they're annual subscriptions, fine. There's no refund policy for the Azure services because, of course, if you're not using the thing, you don't get charged for it, so there doesn't need to be a refund for it. These are the ones that you paid up front for, the license-based services. And then just an idea of support here. We've got the CSP partner does the pre-sales stuff, but the company who has developed the solution does technical support for it. Gazelle, run. What sort of gazelle is it? Oh, no, she's gazelle. She didn't know where she was going. That was my fault. Sorry, gazelle.
If customer wants to use their negotiated pricing, say for example, they already negotiated with Cisco's and FIs and Barracudas, etc., and they want to use that pricing and buy on marketplace. Is that possible?
Right, really good question here. So at the moment, all this supports is I tick the box, it's available in Partner Centre, any CSP partner can sell it at the standard price. But two things that I hope to be, enabled, is that you can have a special rate with a particular reseller and you can have special rates for different customers. So that will come, but at the moment it's the same offer to everybody. So no special relationships of any sort at the moment. Okay, over there. I'm doing things in a very odd order here, just to make life interesting. I think, don't move, I think I have done all the topic, apart from Dynamics, all the topics I wanted to, but I want to show you something that I think you will probably find useful. I've got to find an email. What could go wrong? Email. What email? Licensing school. Oh, here we go. Oh. Right. I know it's not showing. I'm just getting signed in. Who's heard of Get Licensing Ready? Okay, a few of you. Let me sort my screen now, actually. So, duplicate. Right, Get Licensing Ready is showing on your screen now. Get Licensing Ready is a Microsoft-run website, but Paul and our company have the contract to keep all the content up to date. So we manage this on behalf of Microsoft. It's completely free, and the idea is it's there to teach you about all aspects of licensing. So let me just sign in. Under pressure, can I even remember my password? So let me use that. Okay. That's the name of our holding company, if you're wondering who Waken is. Oh my God, I can't remember my password. Ta-da! Right. So, will that be added into my thing now if I go off it? Okay. So, let's say you come in to Get Licensing Ready. These grey things are different tracks, which are separated into different tabs up here. And the idea is that Get Licensing Ready certifications, all these are different collections of exams that go together and make up a nice little certification for somebody. If you've heard of the Certified Professional exam, there's a whole host of tracks for that. There's some specialist ones. But what there will be, if you follow that link that I did, you get something called My GLR, which is new and exciting. Let me show you. So I'm going to go into My GLR. Now, Simon wasn't at Costa this afternoon. See, it's not in there. Simon was not in Costa this afternoon. He was actually creating this for us. So we've created it CSP Spotlight Live because we just wanted to show you what it's going to look like. This will be something like CSP certification. And this is going to be designed if you have people within your business who need to have a pretty good knowledge of all things CSP licensing. There will be 5 modules for them to work through. When they've worked through those, they get a certificate. Very exciting. So you can see here, I've got Introduction to Cloud Solution Provider, Online Services, so that is Office 365. I haven't put any Dynamics in here. I didn't think that was fair for most people. Azure, Reservations, and then comparing CSP to other programs. This is quite important at the moment, that as somebody selling through CSP, you know what the pros and cons are of the different programs. But let's go into the first one. So I start off and... I start off, and what I always get is a video I can watch. This will freak you slightly. It's always me on the videos, or mostly me on the videos. You'll recognise the voice. Although there are 2 exams, the modules, recorded by someone called Simona Millam, who sounds exactly like me. And someone emailed me and said, "Is that your alias so people don't email you?" So I know it's you because it sounds like you, but it's not your name. And the answer is, who is Simona Millam? My sister. Even our mother can't tell us apart. Anyway, so that will freak you as well. So let's say I'm completely new and I think, right, okay, I need to get my head around CSP licensing. I start with Module 1. I would watch the video. We've got 1-page handouts on everything. Now, the idea of these, you know when you get a licensing guide, it's 37 pages of licensing deliciousness, but it's a little bit heavy going. These handouts are to distill down just the key facts. So the idea is you watch the training, you then have the handout to your side, and you work through the exam. Shall we see if we can do the exam? No one's allowed out unless we pass. Okay, we won't really do it all. But it's questions like this. Consolidated Messenger are a CSP indirect reseller. They're setting up a relationship with a new customer. Which document contains blah, 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 blah. Now, as you go through, you can pick an answer. You can mark it for review if you want. You think, oh, I don't know the answer. You can come back and do it. When you finish the exam, you submit it. It marks it instantly. And then if you have, as long as you've got more than 50% right, you get a list of what you got right and wrong so you can learn from it if you want to. When you've passed all 5 modules, you would get your certificate. So, next question, of course, is when is this live? Before the end of June, Paul, is that right? Yep, before the end of June. So, what will happen, at the moment it's being done, as I say, as a private path, which means that you have to follow a link, and then it will appear, I don't know why it's not appearing in my... That's a bit odd. It should appear in here, and then you can work through the 5 modules on there. So I'm just trying to think how we're going to let you know about that link. By the power of magic, you'll find out about the link. You know what email address to use if you want to get in touch with us.